All right, very late recap for Legends. I forgot to put the one up from it was like 2 weeks ago, and then had some wires crossed on what was going on. A busy week and all that kind of stuff. Get Getting through the real world con menu that's coming up. We're pretty much I think I pretty much have it done. I'm hoping to post it up tonight here. Anyway, on to the recap. Where I left off was Tetsu was on my ship. He looked like he was injured, and he said that he has my wards and Pan, and if I don't cooperate, they're gonna die. So, need to figure out what's going on. He leads me down into the engine room, and there looks like there's this bomb type device attached to the engine, and it's like one of those ones where if the explosion would have hit the outside of my ship, it would be fine, because it's inside all the shields and everything like that. It's looking like it's gonna be a bad time. So just kind of like cooperate, go along with this, and we'll see where it leads. He pulls out a chair or two chairs, has me sit down. He has these little jars of weird fireflies, and he has me dip my hand in like this weird sand or something like that. Or no, he like extends it out to be a rock, and I catch it, and it starts like spreading over my hand like this weird sand type stuff. uh, Bit of a mystery, but long story short, cutting to the chase, it's like this truth-telling thing that uses like I guess semi-magical creatures that they could like sense deception or something like that. And he says like basically there's three times that he's kept an eye on me, and there's three times that he's unsure of my allegiances and if I can be trusted. The first one is the battle with Quintus and the battle with the Cerberus that followed up. Again, it's like kind of off-world, off-system, and it was unclear what was going on. So the problem with the things that he's asking me is I'm not supposed to talk about them. Like they're like that was like a shadow ops thing, um, and so it's like stuff's on the line. I don't want to be obstinate, and I don't know the nature of these truth telling things yet or what they're gonna do. But he basically tells me if I lie, it's over. Like he's just gonna blow the ship and take him with me apparently, because he looks like he's kind of messed up, but like not in a physical outward way. Something else is going on, which we'll get to later. I explained to him that like my sister got involved with something, and she was tasked with capturing this mythical beast. I left out the part that they had captured it or sought it out, and then it got away from them, and I was basically cleaning up a mess. So I was like, I kept the Crescent Moon's business kind of vague enough, if like vague enough to he couldn't garner too much about it, because I honestly don't know what's going on with him at this point, whether he could be trusted or not. And that they basically, oh, as a primer, like he has me sit down, and like he asks me a question and then tells me to like tell a lie, and then he asks me he's like, what's your name? It's Emrys Blood of Makoto. And then the firefly, like when it shows up, like the fireflies glow red when it's lie, blue when it's the truth. So I tell him about the first encounter with the Cerberus, but I'm very light on the details, and I just kind of like fill in the stuff that he asked directly, and he's satisfied with that. Perfect. The second one, oh, the second one is the Lane of Lore arc that I did, where I went off world or off system to do a job for her, and I tell him about like the shared will. I was like, I basically did a shared will process for somebody who had a living weapon that was dying, and he was like kind of interested about it. But like again, I was like, you understand, like there's clients, and like there's there's I'm trying not to like expose any clients or anyone I work for, like just in case like he's out there looking for somebody or something like that. But I break down like that there's these creatures that seem infernal in nature, and they killed this friend of theirs, and that's basically what I did. Is I got the information out. I I got the information for them. The weapon still died in the end because it was separated from its host, and yeah, this pretty much like it filled in the blanks for him well enough, and I was relieved because I'm like, okay, like I didn't have to betray any business contracts or anything like that. I didn't like give any like great details, which was kind of throwing me off a little bit because like just from the way I had known Tetsu in the past, like if he was like looking to use this against me, it seemed like he could be a lot more thorough with the questions. So my theory was he's fishing for something else, like he's looking for something else there. The third thing is, and Emrys being a bit of a wise ass, is like, let me guess, you want to know why I went to so and so, and he's like, yeah, I want to know why you left the system. I was like, no, I left the galaxy, and he was like insanely surprised by that, and I was like several times over, as a matter of fact. And this one, I was like, this part, like the only thing I'm not supposed to tell about the third part was that Uncle Makoto was involved with business outside the galaxy like that, and I met up with him there. The other stuff, as far as I'm aware, with the Harlequin is kind of, it's not like super secretive. At least I don't think it is. I don't know. Like maybe the DM will correct me on that one. Like I said, I would imagine some stuff is like I need to know. Some stuff is like just keep this to yourself. But yeah, it's just like I went to deliver a message to a person. She was held prisoner. We negotiated her release, and the message was basically a way for her to return home because she was stranded. I would imagine galaxies away from where she originated, and that kind of like satisfied his thing. He says okay. He says I'll take you to the wards. He's like, you know, kind of like no funny business kind of thing. I offered him a healing crystal because like Tetsu and I like have a positive relationship up until this point, and I'm still a bit unsure what's going on. He accepts it, but like it doesn't do anything for him. So it's like that's me kind of like what the heck's going on? Like so whatever fight he must have been in must have messed him up pretty bad. Leading up to this, we get to this remote mining base or old mining base that's been largely abandoned. It's the entering a system in the D area. The D systems, SRH 212 Delta is the destination. Shar is the name of the planet. SHARR. We get there and Tetsuo is like, your wards and Pan are here. I'll take you to them and I'll explain everything. Okay, great. I haven't had to like kill Tetsu yet. We're both twos. He's definitely he's got me good experience. Like he's an older dude and everything like that. But I think I have one raw talent, and also like I've got some. I think he's. I don't know if he's an arcane Saiyan or if he's just a regular Saiyan. Everything I think I've seen about him has been kind of like more regular Saiyanish. So if that's the case, then I can definitely take him, or at least that's what I'm saying. The bombs disarm and everything like that. I kind of like take care of it. That was like a small detail, not really small because it's like it was deadly. But he explains to me how to disarm it. We disarm it, and we meet up and we go to this like central kind of area. And what I come to find out is this old mining base was also like a secret military staging area for a campaign that Tetsu was a part of. But like it's not like a high tech base or anything like that. It was just more like where people had grouped up and got together. Also, as we were approaching the system, like Tetsu basically explained what he did to my communications, said not to undo it, and that there is all this chatter like throughout the system that they're looking for me and my ship, and that like it's experienced some technical difficulties. So like if you see Emrys' ship, like he might not be able to communicate with you, just report it in. And what I find out is like that's basically their code of we need to find where Emrys' ship is, and then when we see him, we basically kill him on sight. So that's not good, because these are my people. This is my system and everything like that. But apparently there's a faction within it. I come to find out the faction we're dealing with is called the Originators. They look for talented individuals to work for the Empire, and that's the Empire of Nairobi. That's not our empire. That's the empire we're at war with. And I know some of you guys know about Nairobi and the shots and all that kind of stuff. But the Originators look for these gifted Saiyans called Premiers. And this is something when I had first asked about Saiyans, This is years and years ago, like before I had made Emrys, before I had settled on the Arcane Saiyans, because I was just looking to make a Saiyan, and the DM had explained to me that like there's dozens, if not close to 100 tribes of Saiyans, and they have different bloodlines. And I think that was like similar to what the premiers were, whereas the premiers have like a almost like a Kekkei Genkai kind of thing going for them. Pans, as it turns out, is called Helixing, and wow, did I really not write down what Helixing is? I'm pretty sure Helixing is where you can. It's like Kuri's X Factor, um, in Generations, where it's like she can shift like speed to focus, maybe durability to strength, that kind of thing. She can kind of shift things around. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but it's a pretty everything ability, like for you to be able to do that on the fly. But it's been suppressed. She's used. There was this person Zell who was like her caretaker, and they used an Arcanian like enchantment to basically suppress those memories and also to suppress that ability in her, in the interest of protecting her. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't necessarily agree with their methods because like Emrys's hot take is, listen, if you're gonna have people hunting you for this ability, which that is something apparently happens, is like premiers get hunted down by the Empire. I want like the premier to know their ability and understand it and be able to put the best fight up possible, because these people are apparently inevitably gonna find you. Where she knows nothing about it, so that kind of sucks. But it's like, so Pan is having this bit of a breakdown. She comes to find out like because she always thought she was orphaned, and like this person Zell looked after her. She comes to find out that Zell was dead, and that like during their last escape or something like that, or whenever they relocated, Zell basically stayed behind and sacrificed themselves to so that Tetsu and Pan could escape. And then like Tetsu brought Pan to Makoto's system. He settled into his military position and trained Pan up as a fighter, and it's one of the reasons why I think she's so gifted too. Like just being able to hit Super Saiyan so young, just naturally gifted fighter. Like she's just like I don't want to say it's like a royal bloodline, but it's just like kind of like a high Saiyan bloodline. Which is cool, good for Pan. She's a very stark contrast to Saya, who is completely terrible. I still think the other reason Saya's perception stuff is so good is Cameron, the Wandering Warrior, that cosmic being like awakened her senses and like maybe had some sort of lasting effect. Maybe she has a little bit of like inherent talent with it, but I'm still like knocking that up to Cameron to a decent degree. Um, anyway, yeah, so like these people are chasing Pan, and the guy Gon, who I'd interact with. No, I didn't interact with them. It was with Mitsukaru and Dakawan during that training exercise. He's like one of the higher ups on my planet. I think he's like maybe second in command to Mitsukaru, or at least an advisor to her, or something to that effect. I could go back and look at my notes to confirm a bit better, but that's just my shot from the hip without going back to look, kind of thing. He might be involved with these things. This group called the Originators. The scary part about this is the Originators usually work in very small cells, and they also work more in the shadows. Whatever is happening right now is happening in broad daylight and on a very large scale. So Emrys is of course thinking like something must have happened within the Empire or within that faction that facilitated, or not facilitated, that required a sort of advancement of picking these people up. And I was like, because he's trying to think, like, put together like, okay, Pan could do this, like maybe someone important is gravely injured, but like there seemed like there'd be better healing options than like helixing or something like that. But whatever it is, there's something big going on, and it's happening all through our system and all through the Arcanian Saiyan Empire system. So it's a big deal, what's going on. And Emrys is worried about his family, and Tetsu basically says like, yeah, they may be in danger, but like you're also in greater danger. Like you can hear how many people are out there looking for you and everything like that. I find out that the knife that he gave me was the knife they used to do the ritual, because it was a blood ritual. Like that's, I know Makoto does blood magic, and apparently Zell had like access to some blood magic, but Tetsu never redid the ritual. I think it was like something Zell could do. So Pan's headaches are explained as the ritual wearing off and like her memories clearing, and the mental blocks, kind of like Jean Grey style that Xavier put on her, kind of wearing down. So that's going to be interesting. Pan obviously flips out and she runs off, and then I send what's it called? Because like it's like I've been kind of like an intermediary between Tetsu and Pan, where I think both of them have like some decent points about like whether being upset or whose side I'm on. Like it's not like I've been like, oh, I'm all for Pan or anything like that. It's like, you gotta understand, like I'm not saying he made the right decision, but Tetsu did what he thought would be the right way to go. I don't think it personally was, but like that's where he's coming from. I can at least understand that, like from a warrior perspective, from like you have an asset you want to protect and everything like that. Like this is the path you decide to go. That's fine. But so like I basically send Rohan and Saya after her to kind of like comfort her a bit and like calm her down, and because like they're basically all in her corner when it comes to it, as opposed to like just they're friends, they're tight like that. I get this thing that Tetsu has a contact named Hightower, and in a couple of days she's probably going to reach out to me, or I'm going to be able to reach out to her. Like the channel will be open, and then we'll find out our next move of where we're supposed to go. Oh, I'd say about the dagger. Like the dagger I had restored for Tetsu that he had gave me a gift. That was the dagger they had used. Like it was his way of kind of passing on the torch to me to look after Pan, and I find out why that is and why he senses so weird with his energy. Is he took this concoction that amplifies his energy but also removes his governors or his limiters, like the natural limit of how much energy your body can pull out. And that's something that I'm like vaguely familiar with. Like if you remember, like Vegeta does that thing where he does like basically like the living bomb. That's what the Tetsu is doing right now, and it's a process that takes some time to activate. But it's like I wouldn't even begin to understand how to reverse it. Not that I would want to at this point, because also there's a lot of ships closing in. He had sent out a beacon. He was telling me some story about the base and everything like that, and how they managed to take out the people. And it's like sometimes all you need is like one well placed bomb kind of thing. And I was just like, yeah, but that doesn't really help us here because like everybody's looking for me everywhere and everything like that. He's like, yeah, maybe not, maybe not. And that's when that's when I kind of come to the realization, like what happened to him, why he senses the way he does, and what's going to happen to him, and that he's basically going to like detonate all of his energy all at once. But he's taken several, and like I've seen Saiyans use like performance enhancing drugs, I guess you'd call them. I think Makoto's used them at some point. Oh no, I've used them even. Like Uncle Tosh gave me one to be able to survive the rigors of space. Like there's a thing you can take that'll temporarily allow you to like survive in a vacuum. I think I still needed oxygen, but like my body wasn't getting messed up by it. And then obviously as you get more powerful, you just can do it anyway. But I was like a Super Saiyan 1 at that point and couldn't do it. Space was deadly back then. So yeah, like there is like a host of drugs and stuff like that, like Saiyans have access to, because they are a very tech savvy, maybe not like tech like ultra advanced technical race, but like their ships are incredibly destructive. They have those like crazy powerful drugs that you can take. And then they have like a lot of technology, weapons, and everything like that. So it's like I wouldn't call them I guess like the Dara from what's it called from Unleashed, where like they're top of the line tech, but it's like I don't consider them to be like the most advanced technical race in the universe, but I think they're like tech savvy in that sense, where they're using stuff to make themselves better warriors, better fighters, and better military kind of thing. So that's good on them for that. Anyway, sidetrack there. Uh, the bomb is gonna go off. I basically say to Tetsu, is like, listen, it's like you didn't give her the chance with Zell to grieve or anything like that. It's like now's your chance to at least say your goodbye. And then like there's that kind of emotional thing where the two of them get to go and time is short. And I find out that like he had basically set a beacon up here in the system that is luring all these ships in that are chasing us. So it's like we have a very short period of time. They get to say their heartfelt goodbyes to each other in a way, and he basically charges Emrys with looking after Pan. So here's the weird part is I think he wants to Emrys to hand Pan off to Hightower, but he says that he wants like Emrys to also like oversee her training in a sense. And it's like, listen, man, like I got my own life and everything like that. I can't be going off to train like Pan and everything just to like throw all that aside because I was like he doesn't want, obviously doesn't want Pan to be anywhere near where she is now, like in the Makoto system and everything like that. So that's going to be a weird bridge to cross when we get to it. We got them because a bomb. Okay, that was the thing. Is the story with the bomb is like they managed to get a bomb inside of one of their people, and when they went back, it basically kind of like went to the nest and then blew from the inside out. Says goodbye to Pan, released his limiters, and he turned himself into an energy bomb. So originally, like the plan isn't super clear, just because things are happening so fast, and I'm looking to get out as stealthily as possible. Like, but then I realized the extent of the explosion that he's going to create, and the sphere of influence it has, to the point where it destroys the asteroid world or the planet. It was like a small planet, which I can destroy a small planet. So that's nothing crazy, but it destroys the planet, and then like it destroys, I think, like maybe another planet, and it severely disrupts the star in the system, and barely make it out alive. So it's like barely make it out of the system. Most of the planets are destroyed or unrecognizable, and it didn't have anything about the star in there in my notes, but maybe I thought he said something about it, like where it definitely changed somewhat. I just muted something. It definitely changed somewhat. And as we take off into space, that's where I was put on pause.